Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Hello, White Sox fans. Welcome in on this Friday night edition of the Sox on Tap postgame show. It's Jonnie alongside Tony Marchese. And unfortunately, White Sox break into the second half with the 7-1 loss to the Astros. But, Tony, it's been a little bit since, we've been on the mic together. Monday, we did our kind of all-star break checkup. Obviously, the all-star break and then a couple off days after. And now we are finally back. Not in the fashion that we wanted to be. But I will say it is good to be back here. It feels normal talking White Sox baseball with you on a nightly basis.
It does, Johnny. And the All-Star break week, man, is one of the hardest weeks to get through as a baseball fan, let alone a White Sox fan in a year where they're doing so well. That was a rough one. I know we did our All-Star break checkup show with the full crew on Monday night, but it's great to be back, Johnny.
Yeah, like I said, it just feels normal, feels natural to be back in this and talking about games right after giving you the immediate fan reaction here, as we always do on the Sox on Tap postgame show. A lot to get to tonight, but before we do, a little housekeeping. Make sure you're visiting ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. You can follow us on Twitter at Sox on Tap and at On Tap Sportsnet. This show is presented by Grandstand. So if you're looking for White Sox or Chicago sports merchandise, make sure you are visiting Grandstand at 35th and Wallace, right by the ballpark. You can shop online, grandstandsox.com, and follow them on social media for new releases at Grandstand Sox. Tony, now that is out of the way, here we'll just break in initial thoughts of tonight's game. Obviously, a 7-1 loss, not pretty, but couple good things in the early going, and then it seemed to unravel slowly and then much quicker in the latter stages of the game, especially the seventh inning. So kind of a frustrating thing. I'll start initial thoughts. The title of the show, the City Connect Curse. They are 0-3 in these uniforms. I think they look really cool, but the play on the field has not been great. So I think it's time to put these in the locker room for good. What do you say?
Hey, Johnny, I'm not superstitious at all. You know that. That's a lie. But, I think this one started out hot, and then things happened and unraveled. And my initial thoughts to this one, and I'll get into this more, is your offense needs to show up against good baseball teams. I think Dylan Cease pitched well. I think that there were some things that happened during this one that could have made or break this game, but your offense needs to show up in games like this. So that's where I'm frustrated, Johnny.
Rightfully so, Tony. I mean, you get two hits to start the game, start off hot. First two pitches, actually, Tim Anderson triple and then a Yohan Moncada double. And that brings Tim Anderson home. So White Sox on the board first in this one. But then you don't get a hit again until the ninth inning, and it was Tim Anderson again. So you're 3 through 9 batters went 0 for 22 tonight. Shout out to our guy Duke Coughlin for that little nugget inserting in here. That's not going to get the job done, especially against a team that swings it well like the Astros do.
No, it's absolutely not, and that's some putrid offensive showing from the White Sox. I can't state this enough. Dylan Cease looked great tonight, Johnny, especially through the first 8 batters. And then you start this game out with Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada with extra base hits. We know extra base hits are cool and tough, and you want to see that set the tone for the game, and you expected it to. I think all White Sox fans felt great after that first inning, despite not being able to score more than one run, because you felt like you could hit this guy, and then things go silent, and there's your problem right there. That's the end-all be-all of it for me.
Yeah, the approach is good to start. I mean, granted, it was only 2 pitches there, but you're not hitting McCullers' slider too much. But people have not. I believe the average that Benetti had mentioned was sub 100 there in like 86 or something like that. So they jumped on fastballs early. So that was a good approach going in. But you got to be able to adjust when the pitcher makes counter adjustments too, and they were not able to do that at all tonight. I think some of it can be a little bit of still feeling like you're on break, being off. Obviously, most of these guys were off for most of this week outside of Tim Anderson, Lance Lynn, Carlos Rodon, and Liam Hendricks, 3 of which did not appear in the game tonight, obviously, with them being pitchers. So, a little stagnant after the initial jump, and it just sucks, man, especially because it's a Friday night. You get an electric atmosphere. I will say, I got to give credit to the fans. They were bringing the energy early, man. They were giving the booze. It's the first time they've been able to see the Astros in person, and I don't give a shit what the hell happened down in Houston, whatever happened there, and what happened in the final score tonight. Houston cannot expect to just let 2020 and COVID let that blow over the whole cheating scandal. A lot of fan bases are still itching to give it to them. And I know we can't wait to get out tomorrow and do that in person.
No, we can't wait to get out there tomorrow and do that in person, and more on that towards the end of the show. But Jonnie, I thought that the crowd tonight was absolutely giving it to them in the first. I mean, things were looking the White Sox way and faded from there. Let's just track it through. Dylan Cease able to get through the second as well. And looked fine. There were everything that you could look at during this game in the second inning. Sox looked like they had all the momentum, and that's important. And they let that slip away.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Cease, talk about him. It'll pop out first pitch, Altuve to start the game, and then 5 straight strikeouts. So I think we'd be remiss if we did not mention that and how nasty the stuff looked, man. Tony, I love a good hammer, and probably my favorite pitch in all of baseball. And Dylan Cease had it crisp tonight, along with good fastball tail early on.
Some of the nastiest stuff that I've seen him throw, and that's saying something because most of the time when he's out there, that break is just absolutely insane. And, tonight he was fooling hitters early and getting through those first 2 innings, Johnny. That's something that I've harped on Dylan Cease for a long time about is getting through that stuff. And he is prone to the bad inning. I think that's something that, I've harped on, you've harped on. I think Buzz and even Steve have gotten after that fact that he is prone to the big inning. There is going to be times where he slips up, but through those first 2, that's where he's been the most susceptible to that type of big inning. And he got through it against a really fucking tough lineup, man. Like, you talk about the first 6 hitters of any lineup, and you look at the Houston Astros, and you can sit there and say, well, that's one of the toughest to get through. And I was really impressed with what I saw early from Dylan Cease.
Yeah, early on it was stellar. That's the best way I can describe his outing in the early going. And even in the 5th inning, the 3rd inning, when runs across the plate, I am a big Lurie Garcia guy. You know me, Lurie legend. I got the jersey and all that. But this was not Lurie's finest night. And I will, I have in the past, opening day last year, you remember, call him out when he needs to. Not his finest night. He looks like prime example of one of those guys who still thinks it was the All-Star break because he did not cover up second base in a situation that would have allowed for a force out from Tim Anderson fielding a ground ball. He could have just flipped it to Lurie at second had he been covering. He did not. That opened the door for the Astros to score a couple of runs in the 3rd inning there, and they would eventually take the lead and not surrender it from there on out. So tough go of it for Lurie tonight, man. But I don't think all right. Just putting things into perspective here. It's the first game back from the All-Star breaks. People have been deprived of White Sox baseball for a greater part of a week here. And overreactions are going to fly. And we saw a lot of those tonight on social media. And I get it. I'm with you. I'm passionate as a fan. You're in the moment. Totally understandable. But at the same time, let's not let tonight's effort on the field negate what Lurie Garcia has done over the past, month since Nick Madrigal has been absent from the lineup. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Not defending Lurie Garcia for his mistakes tonight. He absolutely deserves to be called out on them. But let's look at the big picture here. This is also only 1 game in the first game of the second half. So there's still a lot of baseball left to be played, Tony.
Yeah, there absolutely is, Johnny. And I think that that's important to call out. There's multiple players across this lineup that have filled in and done an excellent job of picking up the slack, next man up, as you like to say. And Lurie's been one of them, because I don't think we're going to sit here and argue about whether or not Lurie Garcia is an everyday starting MLB baseball player, if he would be better served as your bench guy, your utility guy, your glue guy that comes in and, just can play everywhere and hold the team together. So they're asking more of what, they're asking more from Lurie Garcia than I think that they originally expected to ask of him. And he's answered the bell at every turn. And tonight, that's just a spot where you're susceptible to stuff like that.
Yeah. He had another issue in the fifth inning. He kind of cut in front of Tim Anderson on a ball there. Luckily, that did not cost the White Sox in that game, but that's just another instance of it. I think, mentally not all there tonight for Lurie Garcia. So that's a story of that. Adding more to the Astros runs, top of the fifth. Brantley, 2-out solo shot. That one stings because, man, we talked about it way back in the early days. Michael Brantley would have been great in a White Sox uniform, man.
Yeah, he would have. That's some long history back between podcasts that you and I have done, and Michael Brantley. It's just unfortunate that you give up a bomb there in that situation. Again, that goes back to Dylan Cease and the horrible, no good, terrible inning. So I don't even know what to do with that one right there, Johnny, because your offense at that point has to pick you up. It has to. Yeah. And there's no way out of it. When Dylan Cease is on the mound, the offense has to score 5 runs.
Yeah, and even with the bomb by Brantley in the fifth inning, that's only 3-1 because the Astros only got 2 in the top of the third. They got 1 in the top of the fifth. So that's only 3-1. That's still
a winnable ball game.
Yeah, it's a winnable ball game. You can absolutely come back from that, but that also is contingent on the bats actually doing something. And they did not do anything outside the first 2 pitches and then a Tim Anderson single in garbage time in the top of the 9th tonight. So I kind of want to talk about the middle here of this because Cody Hoyer comes in after Dylan Cease comes out 5 2/3, and Cody Hoyer is just fucking lost, man. I don't know any other way to describe it. I was a big fan of his last year. I still am a Cody Hoyer supporter. I think the stuff is good, but man, he is in his own head, and he is also mechanically just yanking things. You saw some of those wild pitches. Luckily, I think only one of them resulted in runners advancing, but man, he was yanking stuff into the ground. And even if, I know Zach Collins is back there and people want to give him flack about, not being able to, and I've given him my fair share of flack here on the show. I had a whole long segment about it. Even if Yasmani Grandal's back there, when you're absolutely throwing it like 57 feet and it's coming in, he throws pretty hard. When it's, a sinker or a slider like that coming in the 90s range there, that ain't easy to block. So Cody Hoyer looks lost. Luckily, he was able to get out of that because it was only the, he came in with the 2 outs already. So he was able to get out of that. But we go to Aaron Bummer in to start the 7th. And man, he's been a bummer this year. I hate to say it, but it's tough to watch, man, because he was close to getting out of that thing, could not completely escape it, and it eventually turned into Jose Ruiz coming in, giving up a bases clearing double, and that was the ball game right there.
Yeah, I mean, the wheels have fallen off the Aaron Bummer, 8th inning, high leverage situation guy scenario. And I think that that's the most concerning thing to me right now, Johnny, with the entire pitching staff, is that you have Liam Hendricks to lock your 9th down. And if we're looking bigger picture here, you expected Aaron Bummer to be that guy that can get you out of situations like you saw tonight. And granted, I'm still not letting the offense off the hook here, but when you bring Aaron Bummer into this ball game, you need somebody who's going to stop the bleeding. Yes. And give you that chance to get back into the ballgame. That's where Tony La Russa is going to Aaron Bummer. And I saw a lot of stuff on social media tonight blaming Tony La Russa for this ball game because of bullpen management. And number 1, I'll point to the offense, but number 2, I'll point to Aaron Bummer being that guy, and even Cody Hoyer to an extent, being those types of guys that, people tagged Cody Hoyer and Aaron Bummer as future closers, guys that can get you out of those situations. And Jonnie, you and I have also agreed that Cody Hoyer probably has the stuff that if he excelled to his ceiling, he is a closer on a major league ball club because he has the stuff to get you through an inning
in the future, I think.
Cleaning. Yes. But that type of talent can't shit the bed as often as it has this year.
Yeah.
That's a major problem. It's not bullpen usage or bullpen management. That's on the field stuff that can't get the job done. And you've seen way too much of that from guys in this White Sox bullpen. When you want to talk about the pen is mighty and say that this was the best bullpen in baseball coming into this year, they have been absolutely underwhelming when it comes to all that secondary stuff that they should have to get them through high leverage situations from the 6th through the 8th inning this year.
Yep. And that's the reason why the top trade deadline priority is probably at least 2 bullpen arms, and that there's just no other way around it. You can go and make an argument.
I never expected that.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. At the beginning of the season, looking at it on paper, obviously before, you got to play the games. Before any of that happened, though, looking at it on paper, we were talking about this being one of the best in the American League, if not one of the best in the league, and obviously has not lived up to those expectations so far. So obviously, what I will, say usually I can call it out where it needs. Ruiz coming in there, that's not the guy that you want to go to. So I can call that one out. You kind of knew what was going to expect there. I think you put a tweet out right after that. Jose Ruiz is in, so now I know I'm going to need at least 3-4 extra beers tonight. That is definitely the case pretty much every time because he's your low leverage guy. He's when it's a blowout already. Either way, in your favor, or if you're down big, that's when pretty much you go to Jose Ruiz. This was still a situation where White Sox were within striking distance, and one swing of the bat made it not within striking distance anymore. So Reynaldo Lopez comes in after that. We don't need to talk too much about that. He did not get touched at all, but he also didn't look great. I understand it. They want to get one last look at him here before he goes into these ARB years. And I would imagine it's going to be a pretty clear-cut decision to not tender him at all. So, it was just kind of weird seeing Reynaldo Lopez back on the mound. Gave me like flashes of 2018-19 White Sox.
It did. It absolutely did. And I'm just going to go back and I'll kind of disagree with you on this one. I think that, one thing that I've been consistent about with Reynaldo Lopez is that his first time through the order numbers have always looked good. I think that he's always been a guy that can go to the bullpen and give you 2 innings. I think that that's like a sweet spot for Reynaldo Lopez. And I know he was starting down in AAA Charlotte. I don't know why. I feel like they should have, if they wanted to, use his strengths the right way, they would have allowed him to go down to AAA, fulfill that 2-inning bullpen role, and then call him up and do what they did with him tonight, even though it was low leverage for him. But I want to see him in a high leverage situation. I feel like the time for that, though, has kind of passed, and that's on the White Sox player development staff. And almost a systematic failure to what I think Reynaldo Lopez would have been good at. Although I am not a player development coach, I'm not on the coaching staff of the White Sox, Jonnie, so I have no idea the thoughts and decisions that go into the thought process behind making these decisions where you use these guys. It's just interesting that you bring up Reynaldo Lopez right now, right at the second half, and throw him into the bullpen when he's been a starter down in AAA Charlotte. He's one of those guys that you probably would have expected to drop into a 5th starter role if there was any injury issues with the starting rotation. Granted, none of us would have wanted to see that, but I feel like the way they utilized him tonight could have also been a high leverage role, Jonnie, just to see where he's at. Again, though, the time to play with that stuff is so far past us right now because we should be focused on winning ball games. I'm kind of lost with this one right now.
Yeah, it's an odd situation because I think it was pretty shocking to all White Sox fans everywhere when that news broke this morning that Reynaldo Lopez would be coming up. Obviously, we know that Matt Foster has not been getting the job done, and no question that he should have been sent down AAA. A lot of people were calling for earlier in the season, and then you get Jace Fry also in that mix going down with Aaron Bummer coming back. So. It'll be interesting to see how they use him because this is, I will say, guarantee this is not the last time you see Reynaldo Lopez.
It will not be.
So it will be interesting to see going forward. But other than that, I mean, offense, share your gripes, man. It's we talked about it a little bit already, but you can't get 3 hits and expect to get the job done. It just doesn't work that way.
When you have a pitcher coming in with almost a 4 ERA, like you've got to score some runs. And Dylan Cease, and that's no dig against him. He pitched his ass off tonight. But you have to score runs, especially in this day and age in baseball. You've got to be able to score some runs. You've got to be able to hit the ball in the air. The ground ball rate tonight was unbelievable, Johnny. Just could not get the ball off the ground, and it's not gonna score you runs, dude.
No, and it was Benetti that mentioned that the last ball that was hit in the air before, I think the 8th or 9th inning was the last out of the first inning, I believe. So that, like you said, just speaking more to your point, that's not going to get the job done. They need to figure it out here. And you need some of these big names to step up here. I know Yohan Moncada came up with a nice RBI double on the very second pitch that the White Sox saw tonight. And obviously Tim Anderson started that off with the triple. That's good, but I need Jose Abreu. I need a Jose Abreu bomb. I need your guy, Gavin Sheets, you've been picking for pick and click since he came up. I need him to hit another home run. I need Andrew Vaughn to resume what he was doing right before the All-Star break. And this is also partially, let's take a step back. This is also partially overreaction on our part because it is one game. The script could flip tomorrow night and we hit like 3-4 bombs and we're feeling great about this shit.
Yeah, let's flip the script tomorrow night, though. Let's speak that into existence. We're going to be at the ballpark tomorrow, Johnny.
Yeah.
There's nothing more that I would love than Gavin Sheets hitting 2 home runs.
Yeah. Anyone hitting the ball out of the ballpark because they've been few and far between for the most part this year with the White Sox. Feels like sometimes they come in bunches and then other times they're not there at all. So I'm over this game, Tony, unless you have any final thoughts.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on to tomorrow. It will be White Sox Astros 6:15 p.m. Central Time start. It is game on Fox, nationally televised. So on the big stage, they had that same setup on the Saturday night game down in Houston. So let's not have a repeat of that because that game did not turn out well for our White Sox. So as we're looking ahead to this game matchup wise, Giolito for the White Sox, Odorizzi for the Houston Astros tomorrow night. Tony, hate to say this about our own guy, but Lucas Giolito doesn't exactly inspire confidence in me that, we're gonna get out and get our stopper here tonight. Whereas that should be if he's your ace and $200 million guy.
Hey, statement game for Lucas Giolito. Here it is.
There you go.
Big stage, night game Saturday in Chicago. It's not a 1:00 start. No excuses. Can't stay up late. Can't be playing video games till 3 a.m. and make the excuse that you don't feel good by 6 o'clock. So it's time for Lucas Giolito to make a statement against the Houston Astros because here's a playoff caliber opponent, big stage. It's all on the table. If you're an ace, this is what you fucking show up for.
Absolutely. It is time for a statement game. And what better time to do it? You got some time to get off, off of the baseball grid, refresh, refocus over the break. Go out and dominate to start. And I will say props to Dylan Cease for starting off that way. Obviously, a few things in the field did not go his way, but hey, I think the break did him well. And you saw it in the stuff tonight and the strikeout numbers. He got double digits in 10. So I'm looking for that in Giolito because Giolito is a big strikeout pitcher as well. Let's get deceptive. Let's miss bats because whenever they hit the ball in play, it is always, it seems like a threat when it's talking about the Houston Astros. Just looking at some of the guys that he's going up against. Brantley, 2 home runs against him. Altuve, 2 home runs against him in just 6 at bats. it's you're going to have to get the job done. You're going to have to miss bats. You're going to have to get them to put the ball on the ground. And the White Sox offense has to absolutely pick it up tomorrow, Tony. We need to speak it into existence. I want to see multiple bombs, all the fireworks. They had the fireworks show post-game tonight. Not exactly the most, upbeat mood after a loss like that. But let's inject some life into the ballpark tomorrow with some fireworks because of home runs.
We absolutely have to, and you went there already, but that's on some of the star players. Yoan Moncada needs to leave the yard. Jose Abreu needs to leave the yard. Despite the Gavin Sheets show that we saw early on in his call up, I'm not going to put a lot of this onto him. That's some supplementary stuff. Against these good teams, your stars have to show up. This one is squarely on Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Yoan Moncada to show up. If they get somebody else that's the hero, great. But those guys have to start and lead by example. That's where this one's at.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when we're talking about this, guys that need to step up, I know we talked about the big guns. We need that. We absolutely do need our star players to step up. But you talked about if it's tertiary guys coming through in the clutch a little bit. One guy who I think has been able to do it, and it seems like he can just golf some balls out of the ballpark. And he's hitting 600 against Mr. Odorizzi. I'm gonna go with Brian Goodwin for my pick to click tomorrow. How about you?
I love it, Johnny. I don't know if Gavin Sheets is actually going to wind up in the lineup tomorrow, but he's my first pick. If he's not in the lineup, though, I'm going to go with Jose Abreu, Johnny. I'm going to give a second pick.
That would have been my second. So
I'm going to go with if Gavin Sheets is not in the lineup, give me Jose Abreu on backup because I feel like he is the guy that needs to set the tone a little bit. I think he needs to do some more MVP shit. But if Gavin Sheets is in there by chance, and maybe he will be, I'm riding with my guy.
Yeah, of course you are. And never change anything ever. All right. We're done with the game preview here. Let's get into some fun stuff here. And that fun stuff will be the tailgate tomorrow. Man, we're doing it big. Lot B. 3 p.m. Look for the flags on Tap Sportsnet. Sox on 35th flags. We'll be out there. Black flags. Go find us. Parties under there. We'll have it all set up. We'll have snack foods. Music, bags, some props showing up. Tony.
Yeah, we've got some props for the tailgate tomorrow. It should be really fun. I'm not going to disclose too much, but nice some photo opportunities with the props and. Might be a little demonstration, Johnny. It is trash can demolition night.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very fitting for the theme. I got a little preview of it, and I can't wait for all of White Sox fans and anyone coming to the tailgate to come and come out and see that and enjoy the time because we love just getting out there, being able to, it's nice that tailgating's back. This is only like the second big one that we've done. Obviously, we did one on the reopening weekend to start against the Mariners. Obviously, a lot of crazy weather in that. Buzz doing the mudslide, all of that stuff. But tomorrow, weather is looking a little bit better, so should have a more standard setup for this tailgate. Once again, look for the flags on Tap Sportsnet, Sox on 35th flags in Lot B. You can find us under there looking to start around 3 p.m. So should be getting rolling about 2.5 hours before the game or so when it kicks into high gear. So, Tony, final thoughts before we close it out?
Final thoughts. I want to be walking out of the ballpark tomorrow, Johnny, with a win. I want to see some fireworks. I want it to be exciting. The tailgate won't let down. I hope the Sox don't let us down once we get into the ballpark.
Yeah, it's time to beat the Astros here. We talk about,
it is.
Concerns when we were doing our little All-Star break checkup, and concerns were about the sub 500 record versus teams above 500. So the White Sox need to start turning that trend around. This is a team that you very well could see in the playoffs. So let's go and get it done. And you're on the national stage, so act like it, because it's kind of been a foreign concept in years prior with the White Sox, and rightfully so, because they were not in competitive situations. But you are now. You are. So go out, show the world what you can do. Lucas Giolito looking for some missing bats. That's what I am looking for. And the White Sox need to find their bats tomorrow night. So that's all I've got for this one.
Give me a complete game tomorrow, Johnny. Not a complete game from Lucas Giolito, just all around from this White Sox.
Complete team game.
Complete team game. Go out there and show the world what the White Sox are about. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be there for it. Join us in Lot B before the game. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, this show is presented by Grandstand. Make sure you're visiting grandstandsox.com, following them on social media at Grandstand Sox, and you can visit their physical location right there near the ballpark, 35th and Wallace. Make sure you're visiting On Tap Sportsnet for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Follow us on Twitter at Sox on Tap and at On Tap Sportsnet. Tony, that's all I've got. Shake this one off, drink it off, and get right back at it tomorrow.
Hey, it's misery beers tonight. Let's have some victory beers tomorrow, Johnny. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.